Hello again, traders. Right, this has been a spectacularly nightmarish morning with technicals. Great morning trading. I've banked a couple of really good gold trades first thing, and then I set about making a video about the dashboard because I felt it was important to make an updated video because it totally threw me this morning, and because I've had problems with the software, I've had to reboot my machine, I've had problems with the time it takes to go between time frames on this, so I assumed it was some sort of software, conflict of indicators. There's masses of indicators, new ones, old ones, and all sorts going on here, but it's much faster now. We're down to about a second possibly, whereas 4 or 5 seconds, which was just unacceptable. So this is about the 5th attempt at this video because I made a stonking video after rebooting my machine and it didn't save, so I'm hoping this one will save. So without further ado, this morning I expected to wake up as yesterday with a dashboard looking pretty perfect, which is I want to see strength here, colours in the 4-hour daily sort of columns, and nothing much over here. Maybe the odd green, maybe a red here, maybe another green here, maybe a red there, so on and so forth. Not bands of full looking a dashboard. So that threw me. The reason for that, I think, was FOMC. And FOMC, if I can make a quick diversion towards that, it's the news for the American economy, and it is 7 p.m. UK time. It will affect price running up to that. Some people stay out for the whole week prior to FOMC. I was taught to stay out the whole week of NFP, non-farm payrolls, as well, because that's huge, first Friday of every month if memory serves. So you can imagine FOMC causes sideways running up to it, sorry, that's the wrong word to use nowadays, mad price action during the news announcement, and then as happened yesterday, we can I was always taught expect a reversion to the original trend, which I did trade and talked about on Twitter. So best forex method on Twitter if you're not aware of my feed. So as you can see, this has just gone bonkers. Now, because this was a bit of a mess, I decided to make a coffee and do my affirmations, as it were. And for me, my affirmations mostly are just a question of opening a chart and looking for a perfect trade, above the dragon, through the 2 MAs, the 34 and 89, and then possibly a 2B like this. This is a perfect setup, which is why I ended up on this chart with the last video that didn't save. So back to what I did this morning. So what I did as a scalper, my go-to chart is gold because it moves so well, and compared to the other possible similar setups, but as I explained in my previous video, which failed, if I'm looking at euro compared to gold, cable or euro, say for example, compared to gold, where are they? Euro, a long move on euro at the same time as a gold move. This is where I entered after 6. I love this 6 a.m. period because it's pretty benign. The trends, they will push it up. I call it the positioning time of day. They will push it up to a point where they want to play the games. So if I've got a good set of triggers, this you could not possibly short it, then I will trade it. But look at the difference between the 3 pairs. Euro, if I'd taken it, say 6 a.m, I'd have been lucky to get 5 pips out of that. Take the spread off of that, it's horrendous. And this is important. Cable, and the reason I'm looking at all these is because first thing this morning at 6 a.m, they were all green. Cable, euro, gold, and the reason being they were all all the time frames were pretty strong in the long side. So and I don't want to see that really. What I want to see is this sort of situation with a bit of a pullback and then a continuation, which would mean all grey here and then a bit of green here, and then these slowly fill up. So if we look at cable at that time of the morning, we would have been lucky to get 6 or 7 pips before, because remember, this hadn't actually formed at that stage. We would have been forming the Asian range high, that green level there. So it's all, and as you can see, it's gone up and finally hit a resistance level up there, but you would have suffered an enormous amount of pain. So it's no good hitting it here hoping it'll hit there, which would have been there, and R1 up there as well. I think it's R1, yes. Oh, R2 actually. So as you can see, this was correct. It was telling us the right direction, but I don't want to be catching falling knives, or whatever the expression is, for chasing rockets, I suppose. So, and then gold, good old gold, a move similar, which was where I was around here. Nice downtrend, nice uptrend could have been drawn on the 5-minute chart. A move on gold at that point was 20 pips. And the important thing to remember is I'm not expecting massive spikes down at 6 a.m. because, as far as I'm concerned, whether it's true or not, we are trading with the algorithms, just doing their little tiny nanosecond moves before the big boys come in with their pinstripes and their bonus targets to make and throw price everywhere. So I talk about this often. If you get involved in gold here, it's you can't read it as set in stone, but a 20 pips stop, whatever, 25 pip, as opposed to a 5 pip, arbitrary numbers. We use support and resistance for our stops, of course, but as opposed to here, where you can have a 40 pip, 50 pip move on a 5-minute chart. That's why I trade, and I can't stress this enough. This is my bread and butter. 6 a.m, anywhere. 5 a.m, as you can see, we'd reversed good period of time before 6 a.m, the red dotted line. 6 a.m. is when I want to be. I'm confident that I won't get kicked about too much, for want of a better expression. As you can see, Frankfurt opened the dotted pink line, madness, and prior to that actually. So my trade, I want to be in and out as quick as I can, and then let the games begin, as it were. So the dashboard, the point of this video was to clarify the dashboard, because we were grey here. These were great to have a look at. Let's have a look at US 30. Beautiful move. 2B reversal. This is what I've drawn on my charts on the failed video. There's the low, VIX Sporandio. This is the poke bar. It pokes through that low. That's the high of the poke bar. This is the break of it up. This is the pullback. All before, all while I was in the land of Nod. Then we've had a close through the 34 EMA. Then we've had another close through the 89 EMA. This is a 15-minute chart. You could have traded this on the 5-minute beautifully. No reason at all to go short. Not the slightest, not even a red bit on the TMA, which is why I love it too. So, 2B reversal, downtrend, bounce off demand. What more could you want? Beautiful. So, we didn't know what the hell was going on, excuse my French. Here it was all grey this morning. Loads of sort of confusion, but I won't be confused again when we have late and end of day news. Basically, it meant the Asian session was where the big moves were. That's all that happened. Tomorrow we might be back to normal. Who knows? But we are prepared for every eventuality. In this case, stop. Make a coffee, quick affirmation. What do I normally do? Gold, good old saviour, and then you know, rather than rushing into all these potential trades, I had no choice because of computer problems, as I said, but plenty there. So the other alternative was to chill out, wait for the indices to do the turn from grey to the movement, if you like, momentum. And this is something I haven't talked about yet, but the lower time frames, you know, this H1, M30, M15, M5 are your scalping time frames. So really what I should have on here is the RSI 8. Sorry, I'm slightly digressing again, but I've got a ton of dashboard videos. It changes with time. This is the 8, my template for the 8. You will see all this change slightly when that finally decides to load itself. Obviously we're going to lose all my levels on here too. There, we've got the 8 in now, and you can see different picture. So in this one we've got H1 and all the lower time frames showing us. So that's why I like to use the 8 for scalping. And the reason I've chosen 8 is because it coincides precisely with, and it is precisely, RSI histo set to 8, because you get an RSI histo trigger almost every time you get a 3CR trigger. That's Aaron's fantastic 3CR indicator. Can't thank him enough. Thank him every time I see mention it, because he did a truly fantastic job with that. And there you can see, you know, 3CR power above the 20, above the 20, the bar before as well. In fact, no, that's the correct bar. So all these sort of things have to be taken into account. The level 8 is for scalping. So, and all these lower time frames, then, you know, when this was all grey, you can see where the powers come in. First thing this morning it was all grey. If you check my Twitter feed for today, 29th of July I think it is, you will see that this was clear, and then all you had to do was go and make coffee, walk the dog, whatever, and then wait for the power to move in, because it does move in, guys. That's what the Frankfurt and London session is all about. But if possible, as a beginner, I would always suggest you try and trade the pre-Frankfurt, what I call the positioning period of the day. You know, the price just grinds its way to a perfect potential play area for the big boys, and that's what it did this morning. Anyway, I don't want to lose this video too, so I'm going to jump out and hopefully upload it in a moment.